Okay guys, before the start of this video, this is an update on the poll, and this is a three-way tie between Royal Rumble 2013, Royal Rumble 2003, and Royal Rumble 2000. So the deadline will be next Wednesday, and the classic Royal Rumble pay-per-view to review to kick off the Royal Rumble season will be, I say, next weekend. So stay tuned to that. So anyway, folks, enjoy my review of Monday Night Raw for the 15th of December 1997. So no, my Century Units is the sentiment here. So this is my review of Monday Night Raw for the 15th of December 1997. This show was in Durham, New Hampshire. This is the final episode of the WWF in 1997 25-year later arc. At the end of this review, I'm going to do my final roundup of WWF in 1997 to end it. So it's been good, it's been a thrill reviewing these Raws since the spring until the end of the year, and plus the pay-per-views, and I feel burnt out reviewing these Raws and the pay-per-views of that year. I need to turn down my pundit brain, give myself a rest. Anyway, so this is the first Raw with the iconic scratch logo that remained until 2014, until the current logo you see right now. I don't know just about the current logo you see right now. I prefer the scratch logo. Anyway, so it starts with this opening segment with Michael Cole interviewing The Undertaker. Confirmed that Undertaker will face Shawn Michaels for the WWF title at the Royal Rumble in a casket match. Taker says his two matches with Shawn Michaels haven't settled, and he will beat Shawn Michaels at will. He said to Shawn, ever since you won the World Wrestling Federation title, you thought you had the world in your hand. Comes with the title, comes with the number one contender. That means you need to look in the eyes of the Reaper. When you look in the eyes of the Reaper, one-on-one, you cannot beat me. The Reaper referring to The Undertaker. And Michael Cole says, he brings out it's a casket match. Taker says his streak of casket matches are legendary. He talks about one casket match he lost. It took 10 men to put him in a casket. When they count DX, they don't see 10 guys. And Shawn doesn't have 10 friends to help him. And he said, his scrawny belongs to me. Your soul you need to bring I think he said he needs to bring the soul to the Lord. When this forgettable evening comes to the end, somebody's gonna be rest in peace. I think the match he's referring to, his match with Yokozuna at the 1994 Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It was also a casket match. That's the reason why Undertaker it took 10 guys to put him through a casket. I think the reason why they never reference Yokozuna, I think he left the company at the time he left. He died in the year 2000, but he left on very bad terms. So anyway, so the light's gone out comes Paul Bearer and Kane. And Bearer says, well, looks like we had a nice family portrait. A happy holiday portrait. The one thing is missing is your parents. Referring to Undertaker killed his parents in the fire at the funeral as a kid. And standing in front of you is your brother, the same brother. You sit next to him underneath the tree, opening presents, and was it the red choo-choo train? He said he went through hell for the last 20 years, all your fault, and all the agony of all the superstars lay out is also your fault. And he said he's given one more chance to step up to the plate. Be a man in front of your leeches. Bearer called the Undertaker's fans leeches. And also Kane slapped the Undertaker, and the Taker, you know, he's in his facial expression of the Undertaker. He's a bit, you know, he feels sorry about Kane. We'll get to my roundup in the end. So he laughed, and that was it. So there's two wrestlers that I know calling their fans creatures, you know, creatures of the night, are Undertaker and Jeff Hardy. So anyway, it was a good promo segment to kick off this Raw. Let's talk about this advert I wrote down. So this is an advert of, or commercial, that is a WWF theme music volume 2, and you had wrestlers playing musical instruments, like Vader's playing the drums, Mankind's playing the piano, Undertaker with the chimes, those, you know, I think they're called chimes, the golden, those golden things go ch ch ch. If you go to a orchestra, you know, a musical concert. So and then Steve Austin's playing the guitar briefly before breaking the guitar into pieces. So it was. I find it fun to see it. So the first match to kick off Monday Night Raw, we got Taka Michinoku, the light heavyweight champion at the time, taking on Jerry the King Lawler. What I wrote down Jerry the Lawler instead of Jerry the King Lawler. My bad. So Lawler confronts JR about him teaching Taka to speak English, you know, saying this is going to be a slap knocker. And then Lawler says to Lawler, I'm going to speak in Japanese. I think he said Yoshi means small, or Goshi means small, and Oki means big. And he said, I'm Oki. And then JR says, you're not Oki, I'm Oki. You know, referring to JR being from Oklahoma. The match between Taka versus Jerry the King Lawler, it was an okay match. It felt like a piss break house show, but it's not terrible, but not going to be like a barn burner. It was more like a 2-star quality match, you know. It was just average for what it is, you know. Taka hits the drop kick onto Lawler. Lawler hits his own drop kick. I think Taka was going for like the moonsault. Lawler got out of the way, and Lawler going for his trademark, flying punch off the top rope. Taka also got out of the way. In the end, Taka hit the Michinoku driver onto Lawler before he's going to win, but instead out comes Brian Christopher to Sexy, the future Grandmaster Sexay. And, you know, he hit Taka. The match ended as disqualification. And then Taka, you know, overcome both Lawler and Brian Christopher. I think Lawler grabbed Taka between the arms, and you know, he had Brian Christopher's going to hit Taka. He got out of the way. Dex, his father, instead left the ring, and that was it. So it was just, like I said, okay. Wasn't terrible or great. So let's move on to the next segment. There's one segment I refused to wrote down. Didn't wrote it down. Is the Legion of Doom's promo. It's been up to their main event match. You know, I don't want to get into it. So, you know, it didn't do nothing for me. It's a bit forgettable. So the next segment we got the Nation of Domination, The Rock, Farouk, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, the future Godfather. It brings up last week's main event segment when Stone Cold Steve Austin forfeited the Intercontinental Championship belt to The Rock. And Rock basically put himself over that, you know, he's the undisputed Intercontinental Champion, the People's Champ. This is the part when, at the time, Rock is calling his fans, you know, the people, even though they hate The Rock, you know, he's part of the nation. And he's the best Intercontinental Champion you ever were. When Farouk was about to say something, Rock cut him off, says, no disrespect, the champ is talking. I'll get more of Farouk later on. He called Stone Cold Steve Austin the thief of the knife. That's a good one. Thief of the knife. That's a good nickname. Knife of Thieves. Actually, I mean to say, you know, the thief of the night, because he stole The Rock's title, or he said means the People's title, because referring to his fans, the people. Anyway, so he demanded, Austin to bring back what's rightfully The Rock's, and then out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. He says he does when he wants and where he wants. No one ordered him around like his buddies. I think your friend like the Nation members like run their ass up with his pickup truck. He called The Rock, a piece of trash. And the only reason why he or forfeit the Intercontinental title, because the once of his life he was in a good mood. He had mercy off his ass, and he said he's gonna get his title belt. Show you the whereabouts of the IC title belt. And he said to Rock, you need to drive yourself with a little monitor when you mess with the 316. You're way over your damn head. You just don't know it. So Austin laughed. Rock said to Austin that you're calling the shots like The Rock, and he said like he's gone now to bring back the Intercontinental title belt before him and the Nation will go searching for the title belt and bring Austin back to the arena, beat him, and make sure that the people know what The Rock and the Nation think about you. And that was it. So, good promo. I'll get to the second half of this Rock Austin thing later on. So moving on to the next match. So the next match, we've got Love taking on the Road Dogg, Jesse James, with Billy Gunn in his corner, wearing South Park t-shirts, because at the time South Park was a new show. And I think South Park is one of the reasons why Simpsons is starting to decline a bit. Actually not decline, but I'll talk about The Simpsons in a future video. But anyway, South Park was new at the time. So, like I said, this year marks the 25th anniversary of the debut of South Park. I think it was getting close to the second series of the show. Anyway, so the match between Dude Love and Road Dogg Jesse James, it is a follow-up to last week's match between Dude Love and Billy Gunn. Dude Love won the match against Billy Gunn. Afterwards, they beat down Dude Love, and then Billy Gunn, both Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and Road Dogg. My apologies, a bit of a brain freeze moment. Both Billy Gunn and Road Dogg placed their title belts onto the face of Dude Love. Billy Gunn, Mr. Ass, hit Dude Love with a leg drop off the top rope onto Dude Love into his face while he's got covered into those title belts. So this is the follow-up to it. It was okay-ish. It was meh. But Dude Love was starting to become Mankind. He's like doing the Memorable Claw. That's Mankind's finisher, submission hold. He's ripping out his hair, and he's did like this coddling himself. That's Mankind, like Jester, because at the time this is the Free Face of Foley bit. Because at the time he wasn't Mankind since his match against Kane at Survivor Series. Anyway, so in the end, Dude Love hit Road Dogg Jesse James with the double arm DDT for the win. And then afterwards, they continue fighting onto the stage, the ramp. The fight on the stage, I think Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, the numbers game catch up with Dude Love. That's Mick Foley, by the way. Hit Dude Love with a double suplex, and then I think Billy Gunn hit Dude Love with a DDT onto the stage, and then they throw Dude Love off the stage, and he went through the table, and that was it. So, and also being down, kicking Dude Love after he went through the table, and that was it. So, I think they were feuding at the time, Dude Love and the New Age Outlaws. They feuded in 1998. Great example of the at Survivor Series, not Survivor Series, SummerSlam at MSG, Highway to Hell. We'll get to that next, really not next time, but in next summer because next summer will be the 25th anniversary of that show. So moving on to the next match. So the next match, this is Mark Henry's first match back against the Brooklyn Brawler. And, you know, he debuted with the company in 1996, and then he missed the whole of 1997 due to an ankle injury, and also he was nursing all of these injuries, so he missed the whole of 97. Anyway, taking on Steve Lombardi, the Brooklyn Brawler, and also before that, the show building up Mark Henry. He's bringing his accolades, like he competed in the Olympics, and he's a powerlifter. I think he's a world record holder at the time, and Olympic weightlifter, competed in the Olympics in 1996. So anyway, the match was just a squash match, you know, building up Mark Henry. In the end, I think it's the first time they're referring to him as the world's strongest man. That's his trademark nickname that lasts until when he left the company. He's not wrestling right now. You know, he's in AEW. I think he's working behind the scenes. Anyway, Mark Henry locked the Brooklyn Brawler with the bear hug, and that was it. So he's building up Mark Henry. I think he was a babyface at the time. It's funny that 1 month later he ended up turning heel and be part of the Nation of Domination, and he ended up slowly becoming Sexual Chocolate, and the rest is history. So moving on to the next segment, this is the best one. We got Vince McMahon calling out Owen Hart. So he basically calls out Owen Hart because he's endangering the in-ring fans when he, coming through the barricade and jumping into the ring and coming out. And he reminds Owen that, you know, he's under contract, so out comes Owen Hart with the goatee. Owen cut like a shoot promo on Vince. You know, Vince says, you know, what's this all about, and who do you think you are? You know, and Owen says, who do you think I am? Who the hell you think you are? You think I'm owing you a goddamn apology? I don't owe you a goddamn thing. He said, like, you know, he spent 9 years breaking his back for earning a reputation for this company. You know, he brings up Owen, Bulldog, Neidhart do things they got to do. Owen says, I have to do what I do to remain in this company. The bullshit, you know, he said, like, I don't please everybody around here. The bullshit starts right here. And he said, like, nobody runs me out of the company. And Vince revealing that Shawn Michaels, you know, he said, like, he thought Owen's gonna face Shawn Michaels for the title. And, you know, and Owen says, are you stupid? You think this thing's all about? Do you think I give a damn about a worthless title? Basically burying the fuck out of the WWF title. A piece of lead with a tin on it. And, you know, he said, like, call me, this is real life. This is my life, my dignity, my respect, you know. And he said, call me the Soul Survivor. Call me the Black Sheep. My apologies. Call me the Soul Survivor, the Black Sheep. I don't give a shit. By the way, they bleeped out when Owen says God damn and shit. And he sent a message to Shawn Michaels. He said, like, you started this little nugget is going to finish it. And Vince reminds Owen that, you know, that he brings out the security guards. They're basically like police officers trying to escort Owen Hart because he's not going to endangering the fans. He said, like, he's going to enter the ring like a normal WWF superstar and, you know, wrestle like a normal WWF superstar. And he kind of grabbed Vince and by his shirt, you know, he's wearing like yellow Vince in the show, and then he laughed through the crowd, and that was it. So it was, and he got really a good pop. They were chanting, "Oh win, oh win, oh win." It's very funny that, you know, the last I think it was 5 years. I think it was the last 1998. I said 1990, not 1998, 1994. My apologies. 1990. You can say late 93 and then into 1994. Owen was a heel. And right now, Owen is a babyface. You know, at the start of the year, he was a heel. You know, teaming up with his brother-in-law, the British Bulldog, and part of the Heart Foundation. And right now, in the end of the year, he's slowly as a babyface. It's a shame they've never done Sean and Owen for the title because it's leading towards it, but instead they go into that Undertaker Sean route because we've seen it already. That led up to Sean's back injury, that led up to his early retirement for 4 years. So, I wish Undertaker to compete in that Rumble match and Sean and Owen fought for the title. The only titles losing him is the WWF title. He never won it. He should have won it, but it has to do with getting buried politically by, stunning Stone Cold Steve Austin on his head with the power driver. So besides that, it was a good promo for Owen Hart. It led up to the whole Black Heart storyline, but unfortunately that really didn't pan out for him. Maybe it has to do, like I said, getting buried by the company for injuring Stone Cold Steve Austin. And also Owen was better off as a heel. He ended up being part of the Nation with The Rock. That's in another story for another time in 1998. The early parts of 98, he was feuding with DX, mostly with Triple H over the European Championship. So the next match, we got the Sultan taking on Tom Brady. That is formerly known as Salvatore Sinceri. And by the way, the Sultan is formerly known as the future Rikishi. If you don't know, it's the future Rikishi. It'll be Rikishi in 1999. The Sultan with the Iron Sheik, it's basically, it didn't really fit in that group, fit in that Attitude Era, the Sultan. I'm glad they repackaged him and become Rikishi. This Sultan thing is way out its course because maybe it was a crap gimmick anyway, just because it works slightly. Actually, I don't think the Sultan was getting over. It was stupid because it's a racist jangle. Because hey, let's put him with two dark-skinned guys. One's Iranian, and even though like the Sultan's not Arabic or Muslim, even though he's Samoan, Rikishi is. Anyway, it's just like it's just what it is. So, anyways, Tom Brady got the victory, and afterwards Mark Merrow low blow him, and that was it. So moving on to the second half of this Rock Stone Cold bit. So here you inform Rock informs Stone Cold that his time is up, judging of the fact that he did not bring his sorry carcass to deliver what's rightly the Rock's. His comment, it surely came across as ungrateful. No, anyway, so anyway, I think he says it's come across as ungrateful, something like that. I can't remember. Sorry, folks, I got learning difficulties, man. Sometimes I don't remember like a dialogue of a movie or a promo from a wrestling show. So anyway, he said He said to Steve Austin that you should never done that piss off The Rock. So the Nation, The Rock is going to find the IC title belt. And anyway, so out comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's in some kind of bridge, and he's throwing objects over the bridge into the water, like snorkel, a diving mask, an oxygen tank. Sorry, my apologies, an oxygen tank, and I think he took the Rock's bleeper. His bleeping message. I don't know what it's called. Rock's facial reaction was funny, cracked me up. And also throw the Intercontinental title belt over the bridge. And yeah, and he said like, that's the bottom line, because the 316 said so. And also once again called The Rock a piece of trash. And that was it. It's a shame they never done another match between Stone Cold and The Rock. They fought, I think the next time they fought one-on-one. I don't know if they've competed in the 98 Rumble match, but they'll fight again, I think it was the Raw after Survivor Series. Then they fight that epic WrestleMania matches over the next 2 years or 2 or 3 years between 99 to 2003. But I wish they fought for the IC title one more time, because Rock and Austin, they had some good chemistry. You can tell they had some good chemistry in the ring, competing in the match, but in a segment in the promo segment, they're really, good talkers and good wrestlers, But anyway, and let's talk about Farouk about this Early on the show when Rock kind of cut off Farouk, says don't just let the champs talk in. This is leading up to the changing of the guard, who's going to be the new, because Rock ended up becoming the new leader of the Nation of Domination, kicking Farouk out of the group. I think Farouk's time in the Nation is nearly at an end. And then, the Nation of Domination will become the Nation. That's in 1998. That's another story for another time. So anyway, so moving on to the next one. So this is a segment of Vince promoting the Attitude Era, or ushering the Attitude Era. I am not going to talk about it a lot with it. I'll get to the key points, and if you want to see it, the link will be in the description below to see Vince's Attitude Era promo. Promote the Attitude Era. It says people are getting sick of this theory of good guys versus bad guys. He said he's like other shows, comparing shows like King of the Hill and Seinfeld and Jerry Springer. We're in the era of the superhero that's urging you to say your prayers and take your firemen. I feel that's referencing Hulk Hogan, because Hogan, would say to these Hulkamaniacs, work hard, say your prayers, and take your vitamins. So, it says, Roy the War Zone is the common cure. Was it the cure of the common show? It was like a promo for Vince. I think it's one of the memorable moments of this Raw, because I don't know. I call it this is the first Raw of the Attitude Era. Anyway, it's good because it's it's really good. It's really good, and, not breaking it's no fourth wall breaking. It's just saying, hey man, we're not just sports entertainment. We're like normal entertainers. We're like a normal entertainment show, like those, like a Jerry Springer, like a Seinfeld. It's just what it is. So, the reason why I'm not gonna go in details of it, just watch it on YouTube. You might find it. So the next match, we got Jose Estrada representing the Los Boricuas taking on Steve Blackman. Filler match. In the end, Steve Blackman got the victory. Hit Jose Estrada with the German suplex. That was it. No beatdown with Steve Blackman. I don't know if members of the Los Boricuas help Jose Estrada. It's anyway. Moving on to the main event. Anyway, so before that, the main event's DX versus LOD. There was a promo that about who's gonna take out Owen Hart. Sean says he took out Bulldog and Brett, and Triple H took out Neidhart. He said the WWF is afraid China is gonna rip into him, throw into Owen Hart. So they did this rock paper scissors to decide who will lay out Owen Hart And anyway, so let's talk about the main event. It was a bit quick promo to talk about. So the main event, we got DX versus the Legion of Doom. Okay match. In the end, you had the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, smother Hawk with some kind of, I think it's chloroform. They kind of smothered Hawk with it. And then he also covered up some white foam. And then, the match ended in disqualification with China, low blow. Animal. Hawk is just knocked out after he got smothered by the New Age Outlaws with the chloroform. Then also they shaved his mohawk, and also Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn. They did the quadruple powerbomb? I'm referring to the triple powerbomb as the Shield's finisher. The Shield's got the triple powerbomb. They hit Animal through a table with the quadruple powerbomb, and that was it. So it's planting the seeds of the New Age Outlaws. They end up reunited again when they beat down Stone Cold Steve Austin during Austin and Shawn Michaels' build to WrestleMania 14. It's knowing that they're going to be part of DX anyway. I wish they'd be part of the group sooner rather than later. They joined DX after WrestleMania 14, after Shawn left the company due to the back injury. Not left the company, but just retired because he injured his back. So anyway, I wish they just joined sooner. It'd be good. DX is a good group. You know, whether it's in the Attitude Era. Yeah, it's actually in the Attitude Era because in the Ruthless Aggression Era, it's just Shawn Michaels and Triple H because Sean Waltman's gone from the company, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg was gone from the company, Chyna's also gone with the company, it's just Shawn Michaels, Triple H, you know, two members of the clique. So overall, this Raw, I say it's entertaining for what it is. Yeah, it was I got it 6 out of 10. I give it 6 out of 10. Nothing groundbreaking stuff, but at the same time, not terrible. You got some filler matches, you know. It's just what it is, you know. I think the three moments of this Raw has to be Austin throwing the icy towel over the bridge into the water, Owen Hart's promo, plus Vince's promo of the Urshin the Attitude Era. Besides that, some matches on the show is basically take it or leave it. So it's now the time to wrap up WWF in 1997. We're going to talk about the good part of WWF in 1997, then moving on to the bad part of WWF in 1997. Briefly, I'm going to talk about the Hart family first to kick off this roundup. So, the Hart Foundation was formed in the spring of that year. I think it was a good decision to form the Hart Foundation and turn Bret heel for the first time since, 87 or 88. For years, he has been the top babyface of the company, and they did a good decision to flip the script, turn him heel. I think he was getting stale. Have him, Owen, Bulldog, Neidhart, Pillman turn on the fans in the United States of America and embrace the worldwide fans and Canada was the right decision. I think the Hart Foundation is a very underrated group, not just in the WWE, but in professional wrestling history. I think it's the best faction until Evolution in 2003 with Triple H, Flair, Batista, Orton. You got Bret as the leader of the Hart Foundation, you know, feuding guys like Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold Steve Austin of that year. You got Owen Hart as the technical wrestler. He started the year with him and Bulldog are the tag team champions. They had this mini rivalry in the spring between Owen and Bulldog over the European Championship. And you got Bulldog as the muscle of the group. Neidhart is the tag team guy, and Brian Pillman as the loose cannon. We'll get to Brian Pillman later on in this video. The Hart Foundation show no weakness. They booked correctly throughout this story arc until SummerSlam. I think the group kind of declined after SummerSlam. Has to do with Owen basically dropping on the head of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and plus the Montreal Screwjob. You know, Bret's time in WWF did really ends very bitter, and off the Montreal Screwjob and end up going to WCW. Anyway, but besides that, I like the Hart Foundation. You know, watching those Raws in '97 as the Hart Foundation, they were good. You know, they're Bret put themselves as lions against, calling Steve Austin a hyena, showing who's boss. Hate the Americans, but like the Canadians and the worldwide wrestling fans. So that's in the good point. Also in the good point is D-Generation X, Triple H and Shawn Michaels in China. That was in the second half of 1997. I was skeptical of DX in '97 as a heel group because they came across annoying, but besides that, they're kind of funny and entertaining. They'll get more super over in 1998 after Shawn Michaels retired with Triple H, China, X-Pac, the New Age Outlaws. But I kind of like Shawn Michaels and Triple H to show more of their personality and charisma side. I think DX revived Triple H's career because he was not really going nowhere. Yeah, he was Intercontinental Champion in the start of the year, but he was not really getting over. He got buried after the curtain call the previous year in 1996. But I think that DX in China kind of revived his career and kicked him on into that legendary career, years later. And now he's running the company. Rick Rude, I don't know, he was there's a confusion about DX, who is the muscle of that group. Triple H because he's muscular, China, because she's also muscular, and also with Rick Rude, even though he lost a lot of muscle, haven't wrestled since 1994, but it's very confusing. I think getting rid of Rick Rude was the right thing to do, to have DX as a trio. You know, if Shawn never got injured, I think they could still put the Outlaws and X-Pac into the group, so it would be really good to see what might be if Shawn was in that segment with the invading WCW Nitro. So I like them. You know, I like DX. You know, even though they got, you know, like them ending Raws, standing tall, it would get annoying, similar to right now with the Bloodline. You know, ending SmackDown. So let's talk about Stone Cold Steve Austin rise. You know, I think, you know, everyone knows the story that Vince has no decided to, you know, push Steve Austin to be the next top guy. But on contraire, you know, I think that Bret Hart rivalry kind of put him on the map a bit. You know, like going into Survivor Series, they had that submission match at WrestleMania 13. Turning babyface was the right decision. He turned heel in 2001. That's another story for another time. But Austin, like throughout the spring and the summer before the neck injury, he was kind of leaning tweener. You know, feuding with the Hart Foundation, attacking the Hart Foundation, and then when after the neck injury, you know, he started leaning towards babyface. You know, Stone Cold stood against the announcers like Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler, and mostly Vince McMahon. You know, you got like DTA Does Trust Anyone. You know, Austin was really the more highlight point of 1997, knowing that he's going to be the top star, one of the best top wrestlers, not just in the company's history, but in professional wrestling history. You know, Austin, you know, he had some good matches in 1997. Like, he had good matches against Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels at King of the Ring, Owen Hart at SummerSlam, but when Austin got his neck injury, and the end of the year against The Rock. You know, he had some good matches in 1997. You know, that's the reason why Austin is the highlight point of 97, knowing that he's going to carry the company into the promised land, into the second boom period of professional wrestling. Knowing that Austin, you know, being this toughest SOB and DX also being this degenerate group, they're crossing the bar. So, anyway, let's talk about Undertaker and Kane and Paul Bearer. Undertaker's reign is not on the same level as Shawn Michaels' WWF title reign from '96, the previous year. No, he had a good run as the champion. You know, his first one was disappointing because Hogan played politics, but you know they did the right thing, putting the belt onto Taker. Taker has some good matches as the world champion against Austin and Bret and Vader. I think the weakest match of his reign was against Farouk at King of the Ring. Not bad matches, but they're like good to great matches. You know, the Paul Bearer thing was good. You know, have Paul Bearer, you know, face burn off by the Undertaker after, I think it was like that after the match against Mankind at Revenge of the Taker, having Paul Bearer ditching the white skin, the dark hair, and the mustache, doing and the yeah, being more personal against the Undertaker, the dark secret that he killed his parents and self-proclaimed brother. You know, it was trying to bring the sympathy of the Undertaker. I think it's kind of working to some certain degree, but you know, even though Undertaker's shown no weakness over the 6 or 7 years when he was in the company, but leading up to their match at WrestleMania 14 in 1998, knowing that, you know, Taker, you know, had regrets of killing, you know, his parents. But anyway, Kane a little bit briefly. You know, he was bought like this monster before, you know, they fucked him up in the next 20 odd years in the company. But in the early months of Kane, he was just this slow monster, just doesn't speak, choke slamming. You know, Paul Bearer like being the manipulative character, you know, poisoning Kane's mind, turning on the Undertaker. You know, Bearer had a good 97. So let's talk about the bad. And that's it. I covered the good, the good, the bad. Let's talk about the faction warfare thing. Stupid as shit. Like, the only three good factions were the Heart Foundation, D-Generation X, and also put in the Nation of Domination. Like, I like the second version, and it is in The Rock. In The Rock, I'll talk about Rock briefly. Him as Rocky Mafia went nowhere. When he was The Rock, using words like jabroni, referring to himself as the third person as The Rock, was the right thing. It was a career revival for The Rock. He would become, like Austin, another top star, not just in the company, but in professional wrestling history, and went on to do stuff in Hollywood. But the Nation was good. But let's talk about the bad factions, like fucking Truth Commission was shit. Los Boricuas, they were a jobber group. DOA was shit, and when Crush left the company, didn't do nothing for that group, and was like gone after 1998, 1999. Also I put Brian Pillman's death in the bad because Brian Pillman was going to be on the verge to be another top star for the company. Like, the stuff with Goldust and Marlena was good. Kidnapping Marlena, make Marlena his slave for 30 days, dressing up like a prostitute, having sex with her in a motel, showing the loose cannon side of Brian Pillman, because he was a bit of the loose cannon when he was in WCW, in 95, 96, but when he came to the WWF in 96, and then part of the Heart Foundation, and really branch out on his own, knowing that he's going to be the top star. It's really a shame that he died in October 97 before Bad Blood. What might have been? Like I said, what's the payoff if Brian Pillman didn't die? We don't know. It changed the storyline, having Goldust to divorce Marlena in storyline wise, dating, Luna for Sean, and, become formerly the artist formerly known as Goldust, It's just, it's just campy. I don't want to get into it. I haven't seen the rest of 98 yet. I might review 1998 shows in the future. So another one I'm going to talk about in the bad has to be, tag team title changes. Didn't mean the thing, and plus the Legion of Doom's return has been botched. I feel like the tag team title changes didn't really mean anything. It started the year with Bulldog and Owen. Then on pay-per-view for Austin and Michaels winning the belts because they were in the feud with the Heart Foundation. That didn't mean anything because they ended up feuding at King of the Ring, and then Austin teaming up with Dude Love. And also pointing the good is the free face of Foley. I'll get to that shortly. And also, when Austin and Dude Love vacate the belts due to Austin's injury, meaningless tag team changes, like the Headbangers won it. Unfortunately flopped, and also the Godwins also flopped. LOD's title reign didn't mean a thing. Should have won it in the first half of the year instead of the second half. I think they did the right thing having the New Age Outlaws winning the tag team titles and end of the year as the tag team champions and going into 1998 was the right call. Free face of Foley also put it in the good because of Mick Foley's been Mankind since he debuted in the company in 96, and by the time that Mankind character was getting stale, he became this Dude Love character, this cool cat type of character. Had Mercy dancing, and also the super deranged Cactus Jack briefly in his feud with Triple H. Mick Foley is also coming up with these three characters. I think Bray Wyatt inspired by Mick Foley because with his characters change right now, that's another story another time. But seeing Mick Foley beating Dude Love for some parts of 97 and Cactus Jack, only one time in 1997. He became Cactus Jack more time in 98, teaming up with Chainsaw Charlie. That's another topic for another time. So I like the Free Face of Foley thing. I like the interview with Jim Ross. Foley is a good character, like it or not. So anyway, I'm gonna rate this year 8.5 out of 10. It was a decent year. I think the Attitude Eras of 98 and 99 will be more super entertaining. Okay, folks, that's it. That's the end of the WWF in 1997, 25 years later arc. Hope you enjoyed this ride, the experience. Watch all my previous Raw reviews from that year, plus the pay-per-views on my WWF in 1997 reviews on the playlist. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, smash the like button, click the like, click the bell, subscribe to the Central Man Network on YouTube, be part of the Central Unit for more wrestling videos and more. And this is the Central Man officially signing out. Check you later.